Live from the heart of the Quad Cities, you're watching Our Quad Cities News this morning on Local 4.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Danielle Davis.
I'm Brittany Dobbins.
And I am meteorologist Tyler Ryan. Thank you guys for watching Our Quad Cities News this morning at 5 on CBS.
Yeah. And it was not a bad morning this morning, at least compared to yesterday.
No, this morning and what we're going to see tomorrow morning, you can almost call it a heat wave compared to what we've seen the last couple mornings. Low 40s in the forecast tonight. We're going to be in the 50s today, forecast high, and it's going to be a nice day, honestly. So, you know what today is?
Get the kids out of the house?
Kick those kids out of the house, all right? Because we're going to have some sunshine. It's not going to be as cold, all right? We're not going to deal with any rain or snow or anything like that, but we are dealing with a quiet start. All right, temperatures across the QCA are still a little cool. Don't get me wrong, you may want that jacket or coat as you head out the door, but much improved. We were in the low 20s yesterday, so we're about 15 degrees warmer than what we were 24 hours ago. Some other places are a little bit cooler, some places a little bit warmer than this, but it's the winds. That is the key to everything. The last 2 days, so mainly 2 days ago, we had 20 to 25 mile per hour wind speeds, gusts 30 to 35 to 40 in the afternoon. Calm this morning. So that's the good news. Winds have really died down over the last 24 hours. That's allowed temperatures to maintain, those feel like temps basically maintain what our air temperature is. So 31 Mount Carroll, 32 in Sterling, 31 in Princeton, 30 down in Peoria. Still a little cool in a few spots. I mean, you're still holding on to the teens in Clinton, but the good news is as we go in the afternoon, most of us will be into the 40s and 50s out there. So here's your hometown forecast. You can see a lot of 50s showing up. 53 here in Burlington, a lot of sunshine, 51 in Princeton. However, heading into the weekend, we have another rain chance. In the next 7 days, we'll break it all down, your full local pinpoint forecast.
All right, thanks, Tyler. Let's get started with your top story this Thursday. Claims of mismanagement and dysfunction are being directed at several state agencies right here in Illinois.
Republicans in the state Senate now want the Legislative Audit Commission to take a closer look at them. Illinois Capitol Bureau correspondent Theodora Coulivaras has this morning's top story.
Our Quad Cities News this morning continues on Local 4.
Israeli forces are making progress on ground operations in the Gaza Strip as fresh calls for a humanitarian pause to the fighting are coming from the White House. Jackie Ibanez begins this morning's national headlines.
Live from the heart of the Quad Cities, you're watching Our Quad Cities News at 7 on Fox 18.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. I'm Danielle Davis.
I'm Brittany Dobbins.
And I am meteorologist Tyler Ryan.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. The gang, we're back together.
Yay.
And so for those who might be wondering what has been going on the last couple months as well, we've been doing this, building a brand new studio. And I think we have video of kind of what it used to look like. And we're going to show you throughout the morning of what it is look like, of course, right now. So this is the beginning stages of it all.
This is where we started, if you remember. And then this is the start of demolition.
Yes.
Yeah, so cool. And there's the old weather center that is actually now our green screen. We have a whole brand new weather center, mini monitors. I am happy for that. And you can see it's just a lot of work, a lot of preparation, a lot of hours. People on their knees, hammering wire, just so much work has gone into this brand new studio.
That shiny floor.
Yeah.
Andy did a good job on the floor.
You know, absolutely. Like from engineering to production to management to everybody. Yeah. Thank you so much. And of course, this is all for you guys. This is our way to elevate our new storytelling. This is our way to maybe elevate weather telling as well.
And you'll see it right now.
Yeah, we're excited. And here's actually one of the brand new shots. So let's do what we call a walk and talk. So we're going to head over to our brand new one of this massive TV screen, which we can showcase weather stories. We can showcase news stories, so it's going to be really cool. So this is as you head out the door. You can see we have a beautiful look outside, and temperature-wise, we're in the low 30s across the QCA. Winds ramping up 12 to 15 miles per hour. It's breezy out there this morning. It is cold too. Feel like temperatures into the teens, into the 20s, but our air temperatures in the low 30s to upper 20s. So feel like temperatures right now, like I said, cold. 21 Iowa City. Look at Des Moines. 15 degrees this morning. Honestly, our feel like temperatures will probably head that way here in a little bit over the next couple of days. So right now, we're winds 20 to 15 miles per hour. We're going to ramp those things up. All right, as we go into the afternoon, very windy day, very cold day. Trick-or-treating is going to be very cold. We'll break it all down coming up later on your full local pinpoint forecast.
All right, thanks, Tyler. Let's get started with your top story this Tuesday. Public school students in Illinois are doing better at reading, but worse at math. This while the number of reoccurring absent students remains high. Those are quick takeaways from this year's Illinois State Report Card.
You're watching Our Quad Cities News at 7 on Fox 18.
9-time Grammy Award nominee Natalie Grant is on the road with the music of her new album, Seasons.
The singer-songwriter talked all about her new music, personal songs on the track list, and star collaborations from the tour bus. Ashley DeBorkin has your entertainment report.
Live from the heart of the Quad Cities, you're watching Our Quad Cities News at 8 on Fox 18.
Good morning and happy Halloween. I'm Danielle Davis.
I'm Brittany Dobbins.
And I am meteorologist Tyler Ryan. Thank you guys for choosing Our Quad Cities News on Fox 18 this morning. Well, the gang's all back.
Yes, we are.
In a new home.
Yes.
Yes, a very new home that took a lot of work from a lot of people. And here's some video of that. It's kind of where we started. This was when we first started tearing things down. You guys recognize some spots. That's the old green screen, and oh, that's not there anymore.
There she goes.
Took the ladder with it.
Sure did.
But no, that's the old weather center. This is a different green screen. That little set right there, that used to be where Living Local used to be. So yeah, it took a lot of work, countless hours from not only engineering but production. Caleb worked hard, of course, management too. So thank you guys for all the hard work. But this right here, this is all for you. This is our way that we can elevate our storytelling. Same with weather, different shots. Really cool.
Yeah.
We have a lot of cool things we're going to bring you away over the next, hopefully, couple years.
Speaking of cool temperatures.
Woo, it is cold out there. So as we head out the door this morning, you're going to see here, temperatures are into the low 30s this morning. Of course, we're going to have very cold temperatures lasting really throughout the morning. Feel like temperatures will be into the 20s across the QC. We have a little bit of a sunrise this morning. As we're going into your afternoon hours, well, temperatures, yeah, at least theoretically, they're going to climb up a little bit, but it's really not going to change much, especially your feel like temperatures, as we will be into the teens, and honestly, it's going to be very cold. Maybe single digits by tomorrow morning. So
you're watching Our Quad Cities News at 8 on Fox 18.
Well, kids love it, but it can be deadly for pets. We're talking Halloween candy and what else is dangerous for your animals. Kristen Joyce begins this morning's health report.
And now, here is your forecast.
Happy Halloween, although it feels more like Thanksgiving or Christmas today in the Quad Cities, and a large part of the reason for that, the wind. Here's some video from earlier today around Vanderveer Park. Not only do we have these strong wind gusts, if you look closely, some snow flurries flying around on Halloween too. That doesn't happen very often in the Quad Cities. Well, speaking of the winds, look at this. They're sustained at around 20 miles per hour, gusting close to 40 miles per hour. These are the strongest wind gusts we've had so far today. So if you are heading out for trick-or-treating tonight, the combination of the wind and these temperatures is going to make for a very cold trick-or-treat night. Here's the forecast first, and I'll let you know when we get relief from the cold and the wind in a few minutes here on Our Quad Cities News at 4.
Coming up, a man killed in Moline 5 years ago on Halloween. The case remains unsolved. How his family remembered him today. And a new Head Start program opens its doors in the Quad Cities, which kids managers expect to reach. Our Quad Cities News at 4 starts now.
Live from the heart of the Quad Cities, you're watching Our Quad Cities News at 4 on Local 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Niedelman. Thanks for choosing Our Quad Cities News at 4. A murder 5 years ago today in downtown Moline, back in the spotlight this Halloween, a crime that's still unsolved. It is the top story at 4. Family and friends came out to remember Corey Harrell Jr. outside Moline City Hall. He was gunned down in his car on this date in broad daylight at that location. They issued their latest call for justice in the case and for people who know anything to come forward.
And now, here is your forecast first.
Not quite Halloween of 2019 when we got 3 inches of snow, but still what a day in the Quad Cities. That's some of the snow from earlier, the view from our Quad Cities cam. Now it's time for trick or treat, and finally the winds are dying down just a little bit, but you can see some video of the strong winds from earlier today. Here's the forecast first. Winds are still upwards of about 20 miles per hour, gusting 30 and 40 miles per hour, but again, these winds will be dying down just a little bit. Cold and blustery though. The wind makes it feel even worse. These are the actual temperatures, 37 in the Quad Cities. Here's the forecast first, and if you are heading out over the next couple of hours for trick or treat, bundle up. It stays cold and blustery. I'll let you know when we get some relief here in a few minutes on our Quad Cities News at 5.
Coming up, reaction to the removal of Brian Ferentz as offensive coordinator for the Iowa Hawkeyes football team. What head coach Kirk Ferentz says about that. And unsolved Halloween murder. A man gunned down in downtown Moline 5 years ago. How his family remembered him today. Our Quad Cities News at 5 starts now.
Live from the heart of the Quad Cities, you're watching Our Quad Cities News at 5 on Local 4.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Niedelman. Thanks for choosing Our Quad Cities News at 5. Reaction comes from the Hawkeyes head coach about a big decision for the football team. That's after the university's athletic director announced Brian Ferentz won't be back on the coaching staff next season. The offensive coordinator happens to be Kirk Ferentz's son. That is the top story at 5. The decision to let Brian Ferentz go as the Iowa offensive coordinator won't be immediate. He will finish the season. Head coach Kirk Ferentz responded to that decision today. Hawkeye headquarters Blake Hornstein joins us live in Iowa City with that. Blake.
Now, here is your forecast first.
A lot of weather to talk about today in the Quad Cities, and it's mostly not good. We had all kinds of wind blowing around earlier. Here's some wind video, and we had a snow shower that was pretty decent earlier today. No accumulation, but you can see the visibility definitely down on a windy and at times snowy day in the Quad Cities. Our temperatures here, we've been in the 30s basically all day. This is the 5th coldest Halloween we've ever had in the Quad Cities. And the wind makes it feel even worse, sustained at around 20 miles per hour. That puts our wind chills all the way back down in the 20s, believe it or not. This kind of weather here to stay for a while. If you're heading out next couple of hours, it is very cold, and the forecast first does call for cold and blustery weather tonight, and it'll be a chilly start coming up on November 1st. I'll get you the forecast for the weekend. That looks a little more promising on our Quad Cities News at 6.
Coming up, a Halloween murder in downtown Moline 5 years ago, back in the spotlight where that case stands tonight. And family reaction, what Iowa's head football coach says about the decision to end his son's tenure with the team. Our Quad Cities News at 6 starts now.
Live from the heart of the Quad Cities, you're watching Our Quad Cities News at 6 on Local 4.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Niedelman. Thanks for choosing Our Quad Cities News at 6. A Halloween murder in downtown Moline 5 years ago remains unsolved tonight. That's when Corey Harold Jr. was gunned down in his car near Moline City Hall. People close to him, along with police, pay tribute to him today. Our Quad Cities' Michael Frischella has the top story at 6.
Corey Harold Jr. was shot and killed in his car 5 years ago on Halloween in broad daylight outside of Moline City Hall.
And now, here is your forecast first.
Temperatures made it back up above average today, so not a bad Thursday as we get a little closer to the weekend. And the weather outside tonight, okay also. 45 degrees in the Quad Cities. A mix of sun and clouds today, but at least we did get a fair amount of clear skies. Here's our Fox Fastcast now on a Thursday night. Not as cold tonight. Overall, not a bad morning coming up. I do expect a few more clouds tomorrow, but our Friday looks good. The weekend looks even better. I'll tell you all about that here in a little bit on our Quad Cities News at 9.
Now, from the heart of the Quad Cities, you're watching Our Quad Cities News at 9 on Fox 18.
The city knew full well that this was a dangerous structure and no one should be living there. And it meant that the folks that lived there were unsuspecting of how dangerous it was to be in that building.
Strong words today out of a news conference from some of the survivors of the Davenport apartment building collapse. 3 people died a little more than 5 months ago, several injured. Everyone had to find a new place to live. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Niedelman. Thanks for choosing Our Quad Cities News at 9. Attorneys for the survivors reiterated their complaints against the city of Davenport. That is tonight's top story. They mentioned more details of their lawsuit at the Martin Luther King Interpretive Center in Davenport. One of the survivors whose leg needed to be amputated also spoke today. Our Quad Cities' Victoria Frazier joins us in this studio with that story. Victoria.
Jim, Lexus and Peachberry are still getting used to their lives after their apartment came crashing down. Since then, Peach has undergone intensive rehabilitation therapy for her injuries, and today the couple shared the challenges they face.
You're watching Our Quad Cities News at 9 on Fox 18.
Legislation to support Israel in its war against Hamas cleared the U.S. House of Representatives today. However, it would take away money earmarked for the Internal Revenue Service to pay for it. That's not likely to get far in the Senate. Washington correspondent Basil John starts tonight's national headlines.
The House passed that legislation with a dozen Democrats joining with almost all Republicans, setting up a clash with the Democrat-led Senate as Congress looks to fund Israel's war against Hamas.
And now, here is your forecast first.
Pretty good weather for us around the Quad Cities today. That stretch continues over the next few days. Our temperatures tonight, we're in the 40s for the most part, and it is a mix of sun and clouds. That shows up right here on the satellite and radar. Let's get to the forecast first now. We're not as cold tonight. There'll be a couple of clouds, and it'll be that way on Friday also, but overall, not a bad day coming up for the end of the work week. The weekend doesn't look half bad either. I'll show you the details here in a little bit during this second half hour of Our Quad Cities News at 9.
Live from the heart of the Quad Cities, you're watching Our Quad Cities News at 9:30 on Fox 18.
Hello again. A woman accused of hiding her son's body will stay in jail. That ruling from a Rock Island County judge to a motion from Sushi Staples' defense attorney for her release pending trial. However, Staples will need a new lawyer after the judge granted the attorney's motion to withdraw himself from the case. She's charged with concealing her son's death. His body was found in a garbage can. Investigators say his death was accidental.
And now, here is your forecast first.
What a Halloween, one of the coldest ones ever in the Quad Cities. I'll get you those stats coming up here in just a little while. First, though, we'll start off with our temperatures tonight. It's been cold all day long. Right now, we're in the 30s as we head for lows in the 20s later tonight, but it feels even worse. Winds have relaxed a little bit, but there's enough of a breeze that we have wind chills in the teens and 20s around most of the area tonight. It is very cold. Here's the forecast first. We're looking at a blustery night, but not quite as windy for the weather tomorrow. I'll get you the forecast for Wednesday and the rest of the week here in a little bit on Our Quad Cities News at 10.
Live from the heart of the Quad Cities, you're watching Our Quad Cities News at 10 on Local 4.
The community at large, we just pray that someone will say something and someone can be inspired to say, hey, I remember something that day. And that's important because this could have happened to anybody.
A murder in downtown Moline 5 years ago remains unsolved tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Niedelman. Thanks for choosing Our Quad Cities News at 10. Corey Harold Jr. was gunned down in his car near Moline City Hall on Halloween Day 2018. People close to him, along with police, paid tribute to him today. Our Quad Cities' Michael Frischella has tonight's top story.
Corey Harold Jr. was shot and killed in his car 5 years ago on Halloween in broad daylight outside of Moline City Hall.